everyone. I wanted to talk a bit about the barriers to nature connection. So I've talked a bit about the big societal and the cultural barriers that there can be, and this sort of trap that we can fall into a bit, this sense that we're separate from nature, and the big pull of the indoors and the screens and all of those sorts of things that can maybe stop us from getting out and connecting, but also the fact that we maybe don't even feel our connection through the food we eat and the water we drink, that these things come out of a tap or from a supermarket, um, rather than really connecting with where the fruit and vegetables and herbs and things have come from. So this place where growing fruit and vegetables and herbs in our own gardens is so fantastic, because it really brings us back into connection with the land and with the seasons and all of the elements. But what I really wanted to talk about today was the barriers personally that we can have when we actually go out into nature, um, and try to do sort of nature connection as a practice, if you like. And that in itself is kind of a bit sticky and a bit tricky, because there's a sense there of this kind of separation, that I'm indoors and not connected with nature, or I'm outdoors and connected with nature. So maybe it's a good thing, actually. The wind was very high today, so I've had to make this video indoors. And the important thing there is that, yes, it is more tricky to feel that connection with nature indoors. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I do have the windows open, and it's, I'm surrounded by pictures of nature, so those things do all help. Um, but there is also the distraction of this built world. There's also um, the comfort, and the I'm not directly out in the elements, and so there is definitely something which is maybe suggesting that I'm separate, and that nature connection is an activity or something that we do, um, when we think about it, when we choose to, rather than coming back to this sense of being nature. So maybe this is something that we can try just right now. Um, see how it lands with you if you say to yourself, "I am nature." Just really sort of almost bring that into your body, and just feel it. Try it on for size. How does that feel if you say, "I am nature"? Does it ring true? Is it something that you can connect with intellectually? So there's a sense of, yes, I know I'm nature, I'm this breathing body, and all of nature's laws apply to me just as they apply to, every other living organism, every sort of physical um, presence on this planet. We all are subject to the laws of physics and so on. So there's kind of understanding I am nature at an intellectual level. But then there's understanding I am nature as an experience. So this is just, do I feel that I am nature? Do I feel that I am exactly as the birds and the trees, and that the life forces and everything that is within them is also within me? And don't worry actually if you don't, because my journey has very much been that, even I probably grasped it at some level intellectually, but there was a definite sense of this disconnect, and I still see the disconnect. At times I still feel the disconnect, that it is really pervasive in our culture, and I really have to sometimes come back to myself, um, and feel it, and actually make a conscious effort to remind myself that I am nature. So um, it's it's not necessarily something which these days comes naturally to us, and I think that's part of the reason why doing nature connection practices really helps, because it really starts to kind of break down um, those those barriers that have come up. And so the personal barriers that I've experienced, I think probably the biggest has been this mental barrier. So it's about going out and expecting some kind of nature connection experience and finding that what I'm carrying with me mentally is really tricky and heavy. And the mistake that I've made with that is to wrestle with it and fight it. And when I do that, it makes it worse. So my attention's gone to, um, thoughts like, um, why am I feeling like this? Why can't I just relax? Why can't I just drop it and connect? Those sorts of things. And the more I do that, um, the more difficult it is to get out of it. You end up in this kind of awful sort of spiral, just wrestling with yourself, which isn't at all helpful. And you'll notice that some of the language there, these sort of shoulds and shouldn'ts, is really not compassionate. It's not helpful, and so it kind of awakens a kind of defensive beast that um, it feels that there's something that's under attack, and there's no difference between whether somebody was externally saying those things to me or whether I was saying them to myself. It would provoke the same kind of defensive reaction. So just recognizing that the answer to those feelings, and the feelings for me when it's a day like that, so this is the weather. It's um, this is my cloudy weather day, and it's to recognise it's a cloudy weather day and that it's just like that, and that we all get days like that. It might be that there are lots of cloudy weather days. Maybe there's something going on in my life where um, there's a lot of cloud. Um, and so, yeah, just recognizing this is a cloudy weather day. I often feel it as a heaviness in my body, maybe a sense of overwhelm, big to-do lists, things like that. Um, just lots of things kind of pulling for my mental attention. Thought busyness. There's lots going on mentally. So, yeah, the first thing that's really helpful to me is just to pause, just to maybe sit or have my feet barefoot on the earth, and just to actually just rest and allow myself to be held by the earth. Um, Allow myself just maybe to notice that my body's still breathing and that nature's processes are going on, and that I'm just held and supported in every moment. And that in itself is enough of a practice. That's nature connection right there. That's just pausing, allowing myself to feel held and supported in nature. And I can do that indoors. I can feel my connection with the earth through the chair, through the floor, through the air that's is in my home, and through this heartfelt connection. And yeah, I don't need to be able to get outdoors, so this is something really that's available to us at any time, wherever we happen to be. And it's really powerful. So that's and it's so simple, and it could be just a few moments. So all we're really looking to do is just to open the door just a crack, just to set that heaviness down just for a moment. But um, recognizing that it's okay that heaviness is there, that this is life, and that being able to do this is possibly one of the most powerful things that we can learn. This is something that we can do for ourselves, that we're not um, it's not learning how to do things when things are all plain sailing. It's learning how to be with discomfort, and so many of the things that are causing problems in our world are about going to external things to try and fix that sense of discomfort, that sense of something being wrong. And maybe there's nothing wrong. You know, Uh, Life's meant to have difficult moments. It's meant to be light and shade. Um, and, maybe there's nothing to fix. It's just about learning to be with it and to allow ourselves to be supported. Um, and yeah, just allowing the sort of the energy of that just to flow through, and not to get caught up trying to fight it or change it. I'm putting those as questions. I don't have answers. But maybe that's a possibility for exploring. So yeah, that's the first thing. Quite a long bit there, but the key message of that is that the biggest barrier for me has been this kind of mental battle, and this connected to this is expectation. So it's going to nature connection with an expectation of certain outcome, or feeling a certain way, or achieving a certain state. So maybe thinking that I'm going to feel relaxed, or thinking that it's always going to be that sort of, profound awe and wonder feeling, um, that, sometimes can happen. Sometimes we have really um, amazing sessions where, things happen and you really feel, um, the metaphor, or, you've learnt something that, feels really worth journaling about. And other times, it's not like that at all. And, maybe we don't see the animals that we'd hope to see, or, the weather's difficult, or there's a lot of human noise, a lot of aircraft noise and things like that. And it's just recognizing that actually maybe that's just as valuable, that, you know, connecting and being there when those things, um, being with what is, that's the big part of it, is being with what is, and recognizing that there might be something really profound and a sort of hidden treasure, a less obvious treasure in this. Um, so yeah, just exploring that. So um, using kindness and compassion and acceptance and mindfulness, um, to um, deal with the sort of mental part of this, those expectations, and the um, whatever is showing up for us, um, is really, I think, key to nature connection. Um, there's a there is a physical element, which is simply about wearing the right clothes, and that's I have done a blog post on this, so you're very welcome to look at that. But it can be really difficult if you've set yourself up for a challenging or possibly even dangerous experience. So having layers, sunscreen, hats, um, waterproofs, something like a sit mat or something to sit on. Um, those things definitely do help, and but also not being afraid to go out in the rain. You know, it's if the weather's not dangerous, it's not sort of lightning or extreme cold, um, then um, then it's probably safe to go, as long as you had the right clothing. And if we only went out in the fair weather days, we miss so much. There is so much beauty in those rainy days. Um, and yeah, there is a huge amount to be gained by connecting with all of the elements, and not just the ones we think we like. Because you may find you've got a new favourite season, or a new favourite weather, and it might not be what you're expecting, but you have to kind of be open to it in the first place. So I guess that's quite a long video, and the core message here really seems to be around acceptance and letting go of expectations, this kind of non-judgment. So there are all these mindfulness qualities um, that are, are really key to nature connection. Good luck, and let me know how you get on.